before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurk with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurk@fbfs.com.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at WindowWorldLincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Welcome to the 2025 NSAA State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. State baseball broadcasts are powered by Game Day Men's Health, Max Tan, Dome University, Raising Canes, and the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Now, calling all the action, here's Nick Sainert and Austin Orman.
Welcome into a beautiful afternoon at Warner Park. Nick Sainert, Austin Orman alongside as we're just a few minutes away from first pitch between the Elkhorn South Storm and the Millard North Mustangs. Millard North is in the same spot that Lincoln East was just a few hours ago, where they will only need to knock off Elkhorn South one time to earn a ticket to the state championship game on Friday, while Elkhorn South needs to defeat the Mustangs 2 times this afternoon in order to play Lincoln East on Friday night at 7 p.m. Nick Sainert, Austin Orman alongside from Warner Park. Appreciate Jackson Kleinschmidt back in our 93.7 The Ticket Studios pushing all the buttons, making sure we get and stay connected back there, 1040 O Street in Lincoln. Whether you're listening on the FM dial, the mobile app, the website, audio stream, or the Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Allo Channel 961 live video streams, we appreciate you hanging out with us on semifinal Wednesday. Austin, we saw a lopsided matchup in Game 1, where Lincoln East wins 10-3 over their opponents in Millard South. Here, though, I think the biggest question is how much pitching availability is there. Elkhorn South has had to use quite a few pitchers. They're going to be going on the mound with number 6, Caleb Uphoff. We'll talk about Uphoff individually in just a second, where Millard North is feeling okay. They're 2-0. They had yesterday off. They had Sunday off. Both of these teams, whoever wins, will get tomorrow off. Millard North, the 2-0 team in this one, is feeling okay about pitching depth.
I would say they feel pretty good about pitching depth, but they're in a really good spot right now. They've still only lost just one time in the month of May. They got hot when the calendar flipped. They've stayed hot here at the state tournament, won in a variety of ways. Of course, we saw the matchup between these two teams back on Monday, a 4-0 win for Millard North. Wade Spencer shoved 5 2/3 innings, only the 2 hits allowed, no earned runs in the shutout, 11 strikeouts. As concerned as you are maybe with the pitching depth for Elkhorn South, some of that because they got up big against Papio South and then just kind of held on for dear life at the end to finally knock out the second seeded Titans. To me, Nick, it's still going to be about the lineup. If you can navigate 1, 2, and 3, sometimes 4 and Gorup in that order, Elkhorn South hasn't had a lot of production from the bottom in the order. Outside of the 3-run double from Gideon yesterday that proved key, Elkhorn South's played some good baseball, but Millard North, one of the hottest teams in the state and feeling good about itself. A tall task ahead of the Storm to win the first one, let alone try to get 2 in a row today.
Well, and obviously at the top of that Elkhorn South lineup is future Husker Brody Gindra, who saw his former team Millard South just get eliminated about 45 minutes ago or so. But like you said, it's been a tough tournament, though, even for a guy like Owen Musil, who was able to come in, slam the door on the pitcher on the pitching mound yesterday against Papillion La Vista South, but at the plate has not been the Owen Musso we know and are more accustomed to seeing. For Millard North, though, they're coming in off of a day of rest, right? They didn't have to play yesterday. They have a pretty balanced lineup from top to bottom, even in the 9-hole, and Chase Mockel, who's put himself on the map here in this state tournament.
Absolutely, he has. Playing a solid defensive shortstop. He had 2 hits in this matchup back on Monday. I've been really impressed with Jackson Smith and Ripken Fleck. They've been really solid all-around players at the top of that order. Sometimes it's been the bottom of the order for Millard North providing the spark, but in the first matchup, it was the top. Smith and Fleck had the runs driven in for Millard North, but that only came because the bottom of the order set the table, got on base for the top.
Elkhorn South and Millard North, as Austin just mentioned, they met on Monday. Millard North won 4-0 in that one. It wasn't even a bad outing on the mound by Brody Gindra for Elkhorn South. He just got hit around a couple of times. He, in 6 innings of work, allowed 4 hits. He had 1 earned run. And when you look at it, 5 strikeouts for Elkhorn South. But ultimately, when you look at the rest of it, there were some errors that were committed by Elkhorn South defensively. We saw how detrimental that can be for a team like Millard South earlier. Elkhorn South's got to play a clean bill of baseball here today.
And they'll have to do it behind their starting pitcher today, Caleb Uphoff. He wears number 6, making his second appearance here in the state tournament. He took over in the 7th inning for Cal Cooper in the opening round game against Kearney. Uphoff was tagged with those 2 runs on 2 hits, did strike 2 batters out. But as you mentioned, the pitching depth for Elkhorn South, Uphoff's numbers certainly something to quibble with, but it's what Elkhorn South has left. He's been solid. He's been okay. He's going to have to show up and deliver in a big spot here to keep his team's hope alive.
Despite being 2-0, Millard North is the lower seed in the bracket, so that means they are the visitors. So we will see Caleb Uphoff on the mound when we come back and get this one started. It's an elimination game for Elkhorn South. The Millard North Mustangs have a little bit of wiggle room here, but they want to go one and done and punch their ticket to a matchup against the Lincoln East Spartans in Friday night's Class A state championship game. Should be a good one. Hope you join us. Nick Sainert, Austin Norman from Warner Park. We'll have first pitch between Elkhorn South and Millard North when we come back on 93.7 The Ticket. In Lincoln and get a $5 standing tan session or a $5 red light wellness booth session. Your summer tan starts today with $5 sessions at Max Tan with 3 Lincoln locations.
Load up on meat and more this spring at The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to The Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Discovering your life's passion is easier with options, and that's what Doane offers students. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes you different. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into a sunny and partly cloudy Warner Park. Nick Sainert, Austin Norman alongside Jackson Kleinschmidt back in our 93.7 The Ticket studios here on semifinal Wednesday. Just a reminder of the format, Elkhorn South will need to knock off Millard North twice. Millard North needs to just win one game today here in this 61-degree weather. 61 degrees, the wind still blowing at about the same clip of 14 miles per hour over that right field fence. And we saw Eamon O'Gorman yesterday knock one over the wall in the nightcap last night in an Elkhorn South victory over 2-seeded Papillion La Vista South. And then we saw one earlier today to start off the game, or rather start off the bottom of the first, with Troy Peltz from Lincoln East sending one over the right field wall. There's a chance we see one today, but other than that, Elkhorn South takes the field. They'll be wearing their gray pants, navy blue uniforms, gold letters and numbers on the front and the back. Caleb Uphoff, 1-3 on their year, 6.43 earned run average on the campaign. The right-handed thrower, the navy blue uniforms of Elkhorn South, the all blacks with blue letters and numbers for Millard North. And they're going to send Jackson Smith, Ripken Fleck, and Marcus Hankins up to the plate first.
Dangerous lineup, dangerous top of the order here for Millard North. I can respect them breaking out the All Blacks again today. It was very difficult in the first game of the tournament. Millard North wore this exact same uniform, and Papillion La Vista South had black tops and white pants on. So it was a lot to keep track of. But we survived. Millard North made it through. And really, Nick, a really good run of success for Millard North across sports, right? Think about their longtime football success. Obviously, basketball's had a run. And now baseball. Now that Millard North is unfamiliar with the state tournament, they've made it 30 times. They were here last year. But you don't think of Millard North as a baseball school. I've been really impressed with what I've seen from the Mustangs. Deep lineup, talented pitching staff. Just good, solid, fundamental baseball all week for them.
Yeah, Bob LeVoc done a nice job leading this Millard North program for Elkhorn South, led by head coach Brandon Dahl. As Elkhorn South won a ball game last night against Papillion La Vista South. Papio South, the 2 seed in this bracket, just never really got comfortable, it looked like. And Elkhorn South was able to show up and show out last night as they are trying to get to their first state championship game in school history, while Millard North is trying to return back to the state title game for the first time since 2006. So one of these teams is going to be the outlier in comparison to Lincoln East when they match up with the Spartans in the state championship game on Friday. But we are about ready to go as Caleb Uphoff, the right-handed thrower, talks with his infield one final time. They dap each other up, and we are ready to play baseball. Here's the home plate umpire, has to real quickly say, come on, fellas. They'll play some ball. Jack Gideon will be the starting catcher for the Elkhorn South Storm. There was a longer pause as well just because Elkhorn South was running a relief pitcher out to the bullpen just to have out there in case. But now we are ready to go. Jackson Smith, the starting right fielder for Millard North, steps in, hitting from the left side against the righty pitcher Uphoff, and we are underway with ball one outside, 1-0.
You mentioned it in the first game, Nick. The sense of urgency has to be the same for both teams. Just because Millard North has a game to play with, they don't want to use it if they don't have to.
The 1-0 pitch is a tad outside, 2-0.
Big shout out Elkhorn South students as well. They've shown up every game of the tournament so far.
They are the clapping bunch behind us as that foul ball goes just to the left of us up here. Pretty square behind home plate, just off to the left side a little bit down the third base side, but very close to right behind home plate as this one's ripped out to left center field, and that's down for a hit over the head of Gintra, and Jackson Smith takes Uphoff's 2-1 pitch into left center field for a leadoff single. Good piece of hitting that looked like it kind of got in on the hands a little bit on Jackson Smith, but he had enough muscle behind that barrel to just kind of fist it into left center field. A nice job by Jackson Smith, and that brings up Ripken Fleck. Fleck was 0 for 4 the first time around against Elkhorn South earlier in the weekend. Here's the first pitch of the game from Uphoff. He shows bunt. It's going to be bunted right side, but there's some English on it that'll push it foul, and it's going to be no balls, one strike coming up. So no balls, one strike, nobody out here in the top of the first inning. Millard North and Elkhorn South. Nick Sainert, Austin Norman with you. This could be our final game of the day. And if Millard North wins, if Elkhorn South wins, then we will have a rolling schedule similar to our layout on Monday, and it'll be about 30 minutes following conclusion of this one. Here's the pitch. This one a bunt, and it's much better. It's going to be in fair territory, and the sacrifice will work to perfection, and it's executed well by Ripken Fleck. That's the difference, and that's the ability to make an adjustment, Austin, that we've talked about a lot. The first bunt, you try to get it foul or perfect, like we talked about, right down that first base foul line. The second one, you just got to get it down and do your job.
Absolutely. If he pushed it a little bit harder, maybe he's able to stretch it into a base hit, but his objective was to get that runner, Jackson Smith, to second base. Mission accomplished.
So now runner at second base is Jackson Smith, as Austin just mentioned, after the sacrifice bunt. That brings up Marcus Hankins, the catcher. He DH'd in the first game and went 0 for 4 against Elkhorn South. Here's this one, as it's a breaking ball that floats over the heart of the plate for a strike, 0-1. I should reiterate, this was the game on Monday, not the first game for these two teams in the tournament, the game on Monday. Here we have it, 0-1 the count, the pitch, breaking ball, stays upstairs, 1-1.
Mentioned a lot of talent on the Class A fields. Millard North has a couple handfuls nearly of guys going to college, including Ripken, Fleck, and Augustana commit, as is Marcus Hankins.
Here's the 1-1 offering from Uphoff. Breaking ball stays upstairs, 2-1, and Marcus Hankins has yet to see a fastball. You've kind of worked yourself into a little bit of a bind, though, if you are Elkhorn South. At some point, you're going to have to serve a fastball into the zone. And Marcus Hankins, if he's smart here, he's probably waiting on it. Here it is. There's a fastball, and he was late. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Ready for the fastball, not for the location. That was a swing that he didn't get his arms fully extended on.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Top of the first inning, there is a runner in scoring position, and Jackson Smith at second base for Millard North. Here's the pitch by Uphoff. Breaking ball, stays high, 3-2.
If you're going to feed the guy the steady diet of breaking balls, it's okay to miss up with some of them as long as you don't leave it hanging over the middle of the plate.
3 balls, 2 strikes. It's been a full count here with 1 out in the top of the first, as Uphoff will now toe the rubber. Elkhorn South student section trying to clap their way to a strikeout here for Caleb Uphoff on the mound. The 3-2, breaking ball outside and a tad high, and it's going to be ball 4. And so now we have a time on the field. Gideon, the catcher, will want to talk to the pitcher. And then at first base, we have a courtesy runner for the catcher, Hankins.
Looked like it was either 5 or 6. This is the downfall of the blue against black here. It makes it very difficult to see the numbers from a distance away. Good at bat there by Hankins, Nick. Obviously a good result for Millard North. But he took the one fastball he saw, swung at it, missed it. Then it was heavy diet of breaking balls, and Uphoff missed the zone with him, so Hankins said, I'll take the 390.
I believe it's number 5 is the runner. That is Braden Weindell. Runner on first and second, 1 out in the top of the first. Here's the pitch to Caden Schaefer. First pitch of his at-bat from Uphoff is on its way. Breaker stays high, 1-0. Uphoff having a really tough time of getting on top of that breaking ball. Sometimes you got to overdo it on one of them just to kind of get it over the top and get your body back in rhythm here. Really reach out far in front and just bury that ball. 1 ball, no strike. Here's the pitch. Fastball up and in, 2-0. And this is where you start to have the concern about pitching depth if you're head coach for Elkhorn South, Brandon Dahl. How long do you want to stick with the pitcher Uphoff? What's the length of the leash? Who do you want to go to next? All of those conversations and scenarios going through the head of Coach Dahl as he gets a big swing and a miss. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Very aggressive swing there by Schaefer. Fastball was up. Everything is up, and it is in his name, right? Caleb Uphoff, not Caleb Downhoff, of course. But, man, you start leaving him up, you bring it down just a little bit, it's in the danger zone. You got to find the bottom part of the zone here sooner than later.
2 balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch from Uphoff to Schaefer. Swung on, bouncer left side. Good scoop by Ginger. He tosses the second for 1 on to first. Is not in time. A nice play by Brody Gindra, the future Husker, at shortstop as he came up on the in-between hop, fielded it down by his left shoe. He flipped it with the right hand over to second base. They got the force out at second, but Schaefer is able to reach on the fielder's choice.
Second baseman Peters wasn't able to get a whole lot on that throw. He was there waiting on the bag for it. If he's able to catch it going through the bag, that might provide a little bit of extra juice for him to get that ball over to first base.
So now moving up to third on the fielder's choice is Jackson Smith. Millard North runners at the corners with 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. Brings up the center fielder, Alex Burish. Burish batted 9th in this matchup on Monday. Here he is in the 5 spot as they're going to allow the runner Schaefer to stroll into second base without a throw. And so now Schaefer is at second. Smith is at third with 2 outs here in the top of the first. Millard North trying to strike first. We saw Lincoln East do so in the bottom half of their first inning. Millard North trying to do the same here. Swung on, hit well into right center field. The right fielder racing over. Is he going to get there? He will. And that will do it for the top half of the first inning. Millard North leaves 2 runners on base. Caleb Uphoff gets out of the minor jam, and we head to the bottom of the first, and we will see Millard North up to bat first here in 60 seconds on 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Jumpstart your summer to the max. Walk into any Max Tan in Lincoln and get a $5 standing tan session or a $5 red light wellness booth session. Your summer tan starts today with $5 sessions at Max Tan with 3 Lincoln locations.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Warner Park in the broadcast booth. Nick Sainert, Austin Norman with you here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. As we are ready to go for the bottom half of the first inning. And so due up for Elkhorn South, it'll be Brody Gindra, who led the game off last night against Papillion La Vista South with a leadoff triple to the right center field wall. Tyler Lofdahl will be in the on-deck circle. Owen Musel in the hole. Brody Gindra steps into that right-handed batter's box to face Brandon Berge. The first pitch swung on, skied high. I think it's going to push out of play into the Millard North student section. Nobody made the play, but there you have it, 0-1 after a foul ball by Brody Gindra.
He's been very aggressive out of that leadoff spot. And a lot of times you think of the leadoff hitter as being patient. There's certainly time and place for that. But a guy like Gindra with gap-to-gap power, Nick, sometimes the best pitch you're going to see is that get-me-over fastball in the first pitch.
Elkhorn South only had 2 hits on Monday against Millard North. One of those came off the bat of Gindra, the other off of Eamon O'Gorman. As that 0-1 offering is outside, ball 1.
Gindra's really trying to get that back right foot posted up in the back of that batter's box.
The 1-1 offering, breaking ball, fouled off to the right side again. We'll do it at 1 ball, 2 strikes as the wind continues to whip here at Warner Park.
And that's an important thing to have posted up. If you keep that back leg steady, that's where a lot of the force comes from. Then you drive that weight forward as you swing.
The 1-2 offering from Berge. Low and away, almost got him to fish at that one. And it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes the pitch. It goes to the backstop, 3-2.
And it almost goes back to Berge.
The umpires here at the state tournament, and this is across all classes, they get rid of baseballs and they check for markings and cuts and scrapes a lot more than in the regular season. They switch out the baseballs a lot more here. They don't get rid of them like they do in the majors and minors, but they check them here. This 1-3-2 pitch is outside, ball 4, and so it's a leadoff walk to Brody Gindra.
That's the mix of aggression and patience, going after that first pitch fastball and then having a really good 6th pitch at bat, ultimately drawing the leadoff walk.
So now Berge on the mound after issuing the leadoff walk to Brody Gindra. He will have to face with Tyler Lofdahl. We have a pause in play, and they're going to... Was that a balk, Austin?
It looked like the second base umpire threw his hands up, signaling balk. The first aid umpire was pointing at Gindra, awarding him second base.
Okay, so
somehow the ball
balk.
ended up in the glove of Marcus Hankins.
Yeah, so it was a balk by Brandon Berge. I was looking down at my scorebook at that time, and I look up, and he was at second base. Here's the pitch by Berge. Sacrifice laid down to third base side, fielded cleanly by the pitcher, fielded over to first base in time for out number 1.
That bunt, to me, Nick, is an indication of, number one, what I think Elkhorn South thinks of Berge, that runs will probably be difficult to come by. But I don't think playing for 1 or 2 is the best strategy for Elkhorn South, given the state of their pitching staff that you alluded to. Probably going to take more than 1 or 2 runs to win this game. Early on, a runner already in scoring position with good speed and Gindra. I might have let Lofdahl swing away.
So now we're going to see Owen Musel. Musel hitting third in this Elkhorn South lineup with Gindra at third. He watches a breaking ball just inside ball 1. One ball, no strikes, 1 out here in the home half of the first inning. Here's the pitch from Berge. Swung on, skied high, shallow right field. The wind's going to push it into more routine territory. The ball is caught by the right fielder, but it is a sacrifice fly, and Elkhorn South is on the board first, 1-0.
Not a lot of a sense of urgency to get that ball in from Jackson Smith. Good catch up in, straddling the line sort of territory, but then he ran himself into the wall. I don't think he needed to do that necessarily, and just a casual toss back to the infield.
So now that brings up Marcus Gorup. Gorup, the third baseman for Elkhorn South. Bases are clear, 1-0 Elkhorn South. This one swung on, hit well into left field. Left fielder racing over, now takes a step in, and it's fielded by Caden Schaefer out there in shallow left center field. So Elkhorn South goes down after 4 batters come to the plate, but they do score a run as Brody Gindra comes across on a sacrifice fly from Owen Musel. We go to the top of the second inning. Your score, Elkhorn South 1, Millard North 0 here on 93.7 The Ticket.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a slight chance of showers and storms this afternoon. Otherwise, mainly sunny with a light breeze and a high near 72. Tonight, mainly clear skies with light winds, a low around 43. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with a light breeze, an afternoon high near 70. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket, and theticketfm.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Warner Park. Nick Sainert, Austin Norman with you as we enter the top of the second inning. How about this statistic for you? In the first game between Lincoln East and Millard South, in the first 2 innings, 112 pitches were thrown by the two teams combined. Woo. 56 per school or per side. Yeesh. Through just 2 innings. Here, it's a 1-0 game, much different outlook here. As back on the mound, Caleb Uphoff to face the 6th hole hitter, Spencer Phillips, as he takes ball 1 low and away, 1-0. One ball, no strikes. Here's the pitch from Uphoff. On the way, swung on, skied high, into right field. The wind will push it, keep on pushing it towards that foul line, and there to make the catch for out number 1 is the Elkhorn South right fielder, Cam Cooper. Elkhorn South's got some confusing names to keep track of on their team. Cal, Cam, both of them with the last name Cooper. So now that brings up Alexander McCod. McCod, the designated hitter. He hits from the right side. Out of the windup, here's Uphoff. Breaker goes across the heart of the plate for a strike, 0-1. McCod didn't play on Monday against Elkhorn South, as he takes strike 2, outside corner, 0-2. Elkhorn South scored their 1 run in the bottom of the first inning on no hits. Here's the 0-2 offering, outside 1-2. Millard North had 1 runner on after a leadoff single by Jackson Smith in the top of the first inning, but he got stranded at third base. Here's the 1-2 from Uphoff. It's a half-hearted swing that's going to be fouled. It was checked, and it goes foul down the third base line. And so we will do it again at 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out here in the top of the second.
I'm a little surprised to not see Colin Driffel doing the DHing here today, Nick. He's been in the lineup, I think, every other game, the first 2 games for Millard North.
1 ball, 2 strike. Here's the pitch in the dirt. Good stop behind the plate by Gideon, and we'll do it even. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He shows no slouch with the bat, 9 of 36 on the year with 7 RBI, but Driffel's a college commit. Going to, guess where? South Florida.
How about that? 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Here's the pitch from Uphoff. Low and away, ball 3. So nice job by Alexander McCod to work a full count here as he steps into that right-handed batter's box, toes on the chalk. The righty-righty matchup, Uphoff out of the stretch. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on and missed. And Uphoff is able to retire McCod for out number 2. And it goes as a swinging strikeout to bring up the second baseman, Tanner Evans. So Tanner Evans will now step in with 2 outs and nobody on base. He was hitting in the cleanup spot on Monday. Here he is hitting 8th in the Millard North lineup. He fouls the first pitch off, 0-1. No balls, 1 strike. The pitch swung on, fouled off, same spot again, and quickly Caleb Uphoff is ahead in the count, 0-2 for Elkhorn South on the mound.
Uphoff's not going to blow Millard North away. It reminds me a lot of what Jackson Corey did yesterday for Millard South.
The 0-2 is low in the dirt. It gets to the backstop, and we will have 1 ball, 2 strike coming up.
What Corey did was pound the zone with 2 different pitches, mixed it up, fastball, breaking ball for the most part, let his defense do work for him.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, top of the second. The pitch is just outside, ball 2. Didn't look like Gideon behind the plate had to move a whole lot for that one, but it is a ball according to the home plate umpire. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, top of the second inning. Tanner Evans at the plate. Caleb Uphoff delivers, and he hits him. It's a 2-out hit by pitch on a breaking ball that Uphoff just didn't have the ability to get on top of, and that is a 2-out hit by pitch. 2 strike count, and he hits him. So now Chase Mockel will step into the box with a runner on first base in the form of Tanner Evans. Very conservative lead over there at first base for Evans. Here's the pitch to Mockel. Breaking ball buckled him. He was going to be way off balance on that swing attempt. If he chose to go around, he did not. He kept the bat on the shoulder and takes a called strike one.
When you see a breaking ball first pitch to the 9-hole, number one, he's doubling down, trying to get a feel for it from the previous hit by pitch on the breaking ball that did break. But not only is it a response, I think, to the pitch before, it tells you that he really does want to get a feel for it. That maybe he's thrown it okay, but he wants to make sure he's able to stay in rhythm with his mechanics where he releases it with that breaking ball. So even though it is the 9-hole, he usually attack with the fastball, breaks out the breaking ball for the first couple pitches here.
The runner fakes to go. Now a throw down to second in time. Jack Gideon shows off the cannon off his right shoulder, and he gets Tanner Evans out at second base. We'll talk more about that specific play when we come back here in the bottom of the second inning on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Skip the line and order with our app or online.
When daily energy fades and your drive just isn't what it used to be, Game Day Men's Health helps you step back into top form. Game Day Men's Health is one of the country's fastest growing clinics, and they focus on men's wellness, providing customized solutions with professionalism and privacy in mind. Testosterone optimization, weight management, vitamin injections, and shockwave therapy are just a few of the many things they offer. Restore your energy and rediscover confidence with the help of Game Day Men's Health, because every man deserves to feel his best every day. Visit them online at GameDayMen'sHealth.com today or in person at one of their 2 locations in Omaha.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Evans, the base runner for Millard North, gets caught in deciding whether or not he wanted to retreat back to first base and then or go to second base. A good job by Jack Gideon waiting for him to commit and starting to run out to him. And so you don't throw behind the runner here on the first pitch. It's O'Gorman. He lines one out to left center field. A great job by Caden Schaefer out there in left field as he is able to grab it on the line for out number 1.
Really good first step in a really good route. He took a straight line to that ball, didn't have to break in and then go back, didn't go too far back and let that one drop in front of him. He beat the ball to the spot and caught it on the run.
So now it is Brooks Berliner up to bat for Elkhorn South. The pitch to Berliner is inside, ball 1, 1-0. It's 1-0 Elkhorn South over Millard North. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit well left side through the 5-6 hole into left field for a base hit for Brooks Berliner. So Berliner is on base with a 1-out single, and that moves the line for the right fielder today, number 1, Cam Cooper. Cam got the start earlier in the weekend. He came in to pinch hit on Monday. He got the start on Monday, came in last night to pinch hit. Cam Cooper, 0 for 2 back on Monday against Millard North. Games start to not run together, but you forget minor details like that. Here, the first pitch to Cooper is inside for a ball, 1-0.
I'll say it, they do run together to some degree. I'm just not the pro that you are, though. So
that's not it either. That is not what I'm getting at. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out in the bottom of the second inning. Elkhorn South with a 1-run advantage. Cam Cooper. The pitch swung on and missed. Nice breaking ball on the 1-0 offering, and he swings through it for a strike, 1-1.
That's an approach issue. You're ahead in the count. Guy wants to throw you a breaking ball, as he said, so control of. Just let it go. Go get a fastball again later in the at-bat.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out in the bottom of the second inning. Here's the pitch. Inside corner, strike 2. Nice pitch by Berge. Brandon Berge He makes it a 1-ball, 2-strike count. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out in the bottom of the second inning. Runner at first is Brooks Berliner. Brooks had a single through the left side. This one swung on. Shallow pop-up. Should stay in the infield. Rather, now it's the wind pushing it out to shallow center field. And the second baseman, out of those 3 guys, that would have been the 3rd guy that I would have expected to grab that fly ball. But Tanner Evans is there to grab it for out number 2 on the fly out to shallow center field. So now that brings up Caleb Peters. Peters on Monday was 0 for 1. He was 0 for 1. He played last night a little bit. Caleb Peters, though, the second baseman today. Here's the pitch to Peters. Swung on, hammered right side, but foul. It's 0-1. Brandon Berge doing a good job getting on top of guys early on in the counts. First pitch strike to all 4 hitters that he's faced here.
That first pitch is so important. It sets the tone for the at-bat. You just don't have many pitches to work with. You can get a strike to start an at-bat off, just like a leadoff man with nobody out for the offense, same thing.
Here's the 0-1, and it comes up and in and hits him. So Caleb Peters is on thanks to a hit by pitch. Moving up to second will be Brooks Berliner on the hit by pitch. And that now brings up Jack Gideon. Gideon, the catcher. He was DH'd for earlier in the state tournament, but played last night as the catcher and obviously as the 9-hole hitter. And then now playing here this afternoon. Righty-righty matchup, runners on first and second base for Elkhorn South. Millard North in the field, Elkhorn South with a 1-0 advantage. They're showing bunt, he pulls back, takes called strike 0-1 to Jack Gideon. Not sure the reasoning behind showing bunt there was no intent to bunt there. He was solely showing it just to pull it back and take the pitch. It's 0-1 now with 2 outs in the bottom of the second.
Was it Gideon that did that yesterday and slapped it through the right side?
That is correct. No balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Swung on, and it was lunged for as now Gideon had to walk all the way across the opposite batter's box because he reached so far out in front of home plate. He extended his arms way before what contact would have been and tried reaching for that one. Now it's quickly 0-2. The righty-righty, we mostly see a lot of these guys be toes right up against that chalk close to home plate, not Gideon. Closed off stance. Here's the pitch from Berge. And the runner goes, no throw down to third base. And we will have runners at the corners for Millard North, for Elkhorn South here in their bottom half of the second inning.
Not great communication all around there. The second baseman, Tanner Evans, came flying in, shaking his right hand, giving a signal of some sort. Berge didn't flinch. He might have had no idea that runner was going to third, but then the trail runner didn't follow.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Elkhorn South trying to add to their 1-run lead. It gets past. They'll throw down to second. It is not in time. The ball will trickle into shallow center field. No advancement from the runner at third. I will also say this, that the body language from Millard North right now does not look near to the level that Elkhorn South is. They weren't communicating either on that runner that stole third base just a moment ago. Nobody yelled, going runner, no verbal communication to tell the catcher behind the dish that he was going. Hankins, the 2-2 pitch on the way. He swung on, barely fouled back, and barely getting a piece of that is Jack Gideon. And so we will do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And there's only so much of that you can put on the catcher. If Berge has no communication, how is he supposed to know? He's got to have a sense of urgency to stand up and fire. I will give him credit, though, Nick, for keeping the ball low on that throw through. And the runner on third is reading that ball up to make his decision to go. Berge threw it on a line, holding the runner at third.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the second. Here's the pitch with 2 runners in scoring position. Outside corner, called strike 3 on Jack Gideon. And Millard North gets out of the jam. They strand Elkhorn South with runners at second and third base. And it stays a 1-0 ball game. We go to the top of the third when we come back here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Discovering your life's passion is easier with options, and that's what Doane offers students. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doan, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes you different. Apply today at doan.edu/apply.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with pay starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Warner Park. It's 1-0 Elkhorn South as we approach the top of the third inning. Due up in the top half of the third for Millard North, it is Chase Mockel, Jackson Smith, and Ripken Fleck. And here is Austin Orman.
Thank you very much, Nick. Beautiful day for baseball here at Warner Park. Let's play at least two. We are guaranteed this game. If the result were to hold, we would have another. But we got a long way to go here in the top of the third. Uphoff on the mound, ready to face Chase Mockel, who is in the batter's box to finish out the top of the second inning. Tanner Evans got thrown out, stealing on some indecision. So here's Mockel's second look, but first at bat against Uphoff. He takes a fastball low and in for ball one. Uphoff deliberate in the windup. Now he brings it home. Another fastball in, 2-0. Uphoff allowed 2 runs in a relief appearance against Kearney. That was on Friday night over at Tally Anderson Field. Uphoff ready to bring home the 2-0. Mockel swings, pounds it on the ground, but through the left side. Chase Mockel aboard a leadoff single for Millard North in the top of the third.
Great job out of the 9-hole by Chase Mockel. He's just because he was ahead 2-0 in the count. Out of the 9-hole doesn't mean you just want to surrender your at bat. Good approach to the plate. Took a 2-0 fastball from Uphoff inside part of the plate. Took it right between the 5-6 hole on the left side.
That flips the lineup over. Here's Jackson Smith. Smith playing right field today. He singled leading off the game. He reached third base, was stranded there. Smith a lefty, Uphoff a righty, out of the stretch. Smith takes a fastball over the outside. He didn't like it, but it's a strike one. He was shaking his head as he was walking out of the batter's box to get his sign. Good frame by catcher Gideon for Elkhorn South. Uphoff looks at first as he comes set. Now he throws over. Diving back in plenty of time is Mockel.
Gideon just got rang up on a call in the outer part of the zone on the other side of the plate, since Gideon's a righty and Smith is a lefty, but same thought applies.
Now Smith squares to bunt. That's a 2-hopper fielded by Gorb. There's no one at third base, but Mockel was not aggressive in making the turn. Jackson Smith, leadoff hitter, does his job. Sacrifice bunt moves the runner into scoring position. Now one away for Ripken Fleck.
If you're Jack Gideon there, the catcher, you can't be standing there as a spectator. You got to be busting your hump down to third base and cover that third base bag, because if Chase Mockel was paying any sort of attention, he wouldn't have rounded second and stayed there. He would have continued going all the way into third base.
We've seen a couple of teams make at the very least an aggressive turn around second base. We've seen an extra base or two ripped off on a play similar to that. Uphoff, a couple checks to second base, now brings it home. Fleck drills that one in the air down the left field line, but twisting foul, 0-1. Landed just over the dugout suite, or club level, kind of field seating. It's 0-1. Fleck, his first at bat, dropped down, sacrifice bunt. Watches the fastball up and in, 1-1. Ripken Fleck wears number 2. He plays third base. The senior entered the state tournament a .345 hitter, 30 out of 87. He's had himself a good week here in Omaha. Uphoff, long pause, now brings it home. Fleck skies this one on the right side. It's in foul territory. Owen Musil over, fighting the sun. He squeezes it with one hand, 2 away. Good job getting to the spot by Owen Musil, being able to camp out underneath it. Take as many moving parts out of the equation as you can. Here comes the 3-hole Marcus Hankins. Hankins drew a walk. His pinch runner was out on the base paths for the second out on the fielder's choice back in the first. Hankins, a dangerous hitter. .374 batting average, 2 long balls this season. Righty-righty matchup with Uphoff. Uphoff, another long look to second base. He'll bring it home. Swung on again in the air by Hankins. Drifting back is Peters. Sprinting in is the right fielder, Cam Cooper. Cooper calls off Peters, makes the catch for the third out of the inning. Nothing comes of the leadoff single from Chase Mockel for Millard North. We head to the bottom of the third with Elkhorn South ahead 1-0 on 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey, Husker Nation. This is Todd Euler, 2-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
When daily energy fades and your drive just isn't what it used to be, Game Day Men's Health helps you step back into top form. Game Day Men's Health is one of the country's fastest growing clinics, and they focus on men's wellness, providing customized solutions with professionalism and privacy in mind. Testosterone optimization, weight management, vitamin injections, and shockwave therapy are just a few of the many things they offer. Restore your energy and rediscover confidence with the help of Game Day Men's Health, because every man deserves to feel his best every day. Visit them online at GameDayMen'sHealth.com today or in person at one of their 2 locations in Omaha.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Austin Orman, Nick Sainert with you at Warner Park for the second game of the day in Class A. Could be it for us. Could have one more. We'll have to see. Brody Gindra leads off the third inning for Elkhorn South. He walked, reached second base, and came around to score on the sac fly by Owen Musil. 1-0. Ripped to third base, but right at Ripken Fleck. Good piece by Gindra. Fleck had it played perfectly. 2 pitches and 1 out here in the bottom of the third for Brandon Berge. L5 brings up Tyler Lofdahl. He was asked to put down a sacrifice bunt to move Gindra, and he did. Lofdahl playing center field, waves and misses at that one over the outer edge, 0-1. Good soft pitch on the outer portion. Lofdahl was thinking he was hitting that one up the middle or to the pull side. Berge delivers outside, 1-1. Every pitcher looks a little different. They all end up in generally the same spot. Berge really stretches that right arm out back and behind him. Nick, what it does on the one hand is it shows the hitter the ball a little bit early, but then he has to bring it all the way back across to where he actually releases the pitch. Here comes the 2-1. That one's popped up, flared down the left side. Fleck moves out of the way, and it drops in fair territory. It's beyond the third base bag, so it lands in fair territory, hops over the foul line. Fleck was there for a second. He got called off by his shortstop, Chase Mockel, but Mockel looked like he lost it in the sun. So that is a 1-out single for Tyler Lofdahl. Again, that's why you get to the spot you think the ball is going to be. Don't call it unless you know you got it. Mockel just kind of drifted over there. Never got settled underneath it. It falls harmlessly on the grass.
I think part of him, he lost it in the sun. He kind of looked up, and then his hand just kind of went to the side like, I don't know where this is, and it dropped right in between them.
Now Musil smacks one on the ground. Diving stop by Fleck. 5-4, 4-3, not in time. First base umpire says the first baseman, Spencer Phillips, pulled his foot just off the bag, stretching for that one. So it's a fielder's choice. Musil replaces Lofdahl over at first base. What a diving snag, though, by Ripken Fleck, making up for the tandem miscue with Mockle, the batter before. Now we have Millard North head coach Bob Lovick out of the first base dugout. He wants an explanation. He's asking the home plate umpire if he saw anything down there at first as it relates to the call that Phillips pulled his foot off the first base bag. Nick, did you see anything?
No, but it also shouldn't matter. The runner at first is safe. And so it shouldn't matter whether or not. I'm wondering if they're going to say that the first baseman, when he was charging back to play, if he ran into Lofdahl on his way to second base and that slowed Lofdahl down. But it was a quick conversation. But, hey, at least the home plate umpire actually talked to an umpire when you were working around him. You got a crew of 4 of them here. Might as well consult the other ones. Don't leave it up to just your call.
It's the little things that become the big things, especially in a game.
Especially in a one-run game.
A one-run game.
Or a tied game.
Well, and these two teams playing for their season.
That's true.
That's the most important
Especially at the
piece
state tournament.
In the state tournament.
Where you have 4 umpires. Sorry.
Yeah, you're
Can you tell I still feel a certain way about yesterday? And just
still a heck of a call.
Not the way that the game ended. I don't care about the result as much. I care about how we got to the result.
What a pickoff move over to first by Berge. Musil barely back ahead of the throw. The call is what it was, but it's the doubling down and
unwillingness to talk to your partners when you got 4 of them.
They're there for a reason. Smoked down the left field line by Gorup, a twisting foul, 0-1. Brandon Berge, the righty, is on the bump for Millard North. Number 13, he's a senior. 4-1, a 1.53 ERA. Another pickoff throw, good one, right on the money, but late. Musil back in time. He's a first with 2 outs. Gendra smoked one on the screws, but right at Ripken Fleck. Then it was a sunball single for Tyler Lofdahl. Musil into a fielder's choice as Gorup takes strike 2, looking 0-2. Gorup, just a freshman. Neon pink batting gloves. He wears number 21 in the righty batter's box and waits the pitch. The breaking ball outside from righty Berge. 1-2. Elkhorn South relies on the number system to call its plays. Gorup checks his armband. Now he's ready in the box. Another pickoff throw and a good one. Berge's got a good move.
Yeah.
Quick feet, quick arm motion, and he's put it on the money the 3 times he's picked over. Now, I will say, Musil not the fleetest of foot, not the most threatening lead. Gorup fouls that one back to the screen. We'll do it again, 1-2.
No, but as a runner, in order to get a good jump, what you're looking for is air under that left heel. And so as a righty pitcher, once you move that left knee or you bend that left knee or lift that left leg, you can no longer make a move over to first base without it being a balk. And so if you are a base runner that's looking to steal, you're just looking for the slightest amount of air under that left heel.
Gorup swings that one, taken by the wind, back over the head of the right fielder. The wind carried that. Musil being waved around third. Gorup will pull up at second base. Owen Musil slides home, and Elkhorn South has doubled its lead. It's an RBI double off the bat of the freshman Marcus Gorup.
A really bad route by Jackson Smith as the wind is blowing the baseball out to right field towards Jackson Smith's direction. And he started off, he drop steps to his right. He thought he was going to be able to camp under that one, but then that wind takes it towards that right field corner. And instead of turning and his hip and drop stepping with his left hip, he decides to banana and just keep on running back. And you could tell that he was in a blender out there in right field, and there was nobody around him to help him out.
And he didn't miss it by much. 1 or 2 steps could have made a difference. Even though Gorman, the lefty, steps into the batter's box, he takes a strike, 0-1. It's knowing the situation, it's knowing the ballpark, and especially how it's playing. The wind blowing out to right or towards the corner, as Nick just said. And off the bat variety, it's going to have that natural tail toward that right field line anyways.
But also, we haven't seen Jackson Smith struggle with that yet today. He made a really nice catch earlier in the game, right up against the wall. He's had chances and experiments with fly balls here today.
Inside move might have had Gorup, who was late to react, but the throw sailed up the second baseline, so Gorup gets back in time. It's 1-1 to O'Gorman. And that's just the thing, Nick. We've seen so many nice defensive plays, but a big moment like that, 2 outs, could have gotten out of the inning. With a fly ball that certainly carried, you got to make that play, help your pitcher out. O'Gorman's on that fastball, fouled it back to the screen, though, 1-2. And for a senior like Smith to have that moment be one where he doesn't come through for his fellow Mustang, Berge, a little bit of a letdown.
I'm telling you, Austin, you can see it too. The body language of Elkhorn South is a team that's capable and ready to play 2 today. Millard North is a team that right now, even having the day off yesterday, which maybe that's a conversation for another time later in the game, is if that's beneficial. Yeah, it is from a pitch count standpoint, but from a rhythm standpoint, maybe it's not so beneficial.
Here's Berge's 1-2. Fouled off again by O'Gorman. Next pitch will be the 6th of the at-bat. We saw this from Papillion La Vista South yesterday, Nick. They weren't out of it, or they weren't fully engaged, I should say, to begin the game. They did a nice job rallying, but ultimately those first few innings ended up being what cost them against this very Elkhorn South team. There's O'Gorman. He fans on a fastball up and out. He goes down on strikes. That ends the inning for Elkhorn South, but not before freshman Marcus Gorup drives in a run, doubling the Storm lead to 2-0. 4th inning of play next on 93.7 The Ticket.
Make plans to join 93.7 The Ticket and the Amon Green Foundation for the first annual Nebraska Esports Golf Tournament on Monday, June 9th at Wilderness Ridge. It's a 4-man scramble starting at 11 a.m. that will feature former Husker greats like Amon Green, Johnny Rogers, Niles Paul, Tony Davis, Adam Carricker, Vershawn Jackson, and more, with great prizes and great golf. Sponsorships are also available. Call or text us at 402-464-5685 with questions, or sign your team up online at theticketfm.com. Registration goes through May 30th.
Jumpstart your summer to the max. Walk into any Max Tan in Lincoln and get a $5 standing tan session or a $5 red light wellness booth session. Your summer tan starts today with $5 sessions at Max Tan with 3 Lincoln locations.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
2-0, Elkhorn South leads Millard North here at the Class A Baseball State Tournament. Austin Orman, Nick Sainert calling the games for you. Millard North has had 4 base runners, not been able to push either of them across in the first 3 innings here. Caleb Uphoff still dealing for Elkhorn South. 2-0 into the 4th. Certainly not a tall mountain to climb, but going to need to see an improved approach, certainly consistency from Millard North. Who, Nick, to your point, just had a full team meeting.
Yeah.
Not even the on-deck batter was allowed to get ready to pick up the stick and get timing down.
No, that was Bob Levoc's way of saying, let's go, guys. Let's pick up the urgency. Let's pick it up. Get whatever's going on in the dugout, right? You can tell a lot by the team in the dugout. Are they up on the railing? Are they up engaged? Are they talking? Are they communicating with guys? Are they making adjustments from one at-bat to the other? This is the second time through the lineup here for Millard North. And do we see any adjustments against Caleb Uphoff? We'll find out.
Uphoff misses inside to Caden Schaefer, 1-0. Schaefer grounded into a fielder's choice 6-4 back in the first. 222 hitter takes a strike over the inside edge, 1-1. Schaefer's a junior. Driven in 5 runs this season. Big, strong righty against the wiry Uphoff on the mound. Breaking ball, good spot for that one on 1-1, but it just missed outside, 2-1.
Which, to that point, I mean, to expand on that, Bob Levoc, he at this point in the season shouldn't need to tell his guys, especially in a game like this. If anything, as that's ball 3 up out of the zone. At this point of the season, this is a senior heavy team. Brandon Berge's a senior. Marcus Hankins a senior. Right there, you're starting battery our duo of seniors here should be able to get some guys rallied around, ready to play some ball.
Here's Uphoff's 3-1. Smoked on the ground, but Gindra over there. He'll fire across the diamond in time, gets Schaefer by a step, one away in the top of the fourth. And there's other guys too, Nick, who need to figure out a way to get the message across that, guys, just because we could play another game doesn't mean we want to.
Yeah.
Let's not have to do it if we don't want to. I think of a guy like, say, Noah Gartner, who came in, pitched really well for Millard North earlier in the tournament. You think about Wade Spencer, who pitched really well a couple days ago. They're on the bench. They can't come back to pitch because of pitch counts. They still got to be engaged and be leaders on that bench. Uphoff's fastball is up to Alex Burrish, 1-0. Burrish in the first, lined one to left. Here's the final out of that frame. Uphoff ready to bring it home. Shot back up the middle. The mound slows that one down. Gindra gets to it. He throws to Musil in time for the second out of the inning. Sometimes the mound accelerates it. That time, Nick, it looked like it just the right angle. It gave Gindra some time to catch up to it because it popped it up in the air instead of sneaking it through.
There are still just a very few number of shortstops that can make that play at the high school level. Gindra working well to his left, deep behind that second base bag, able to throw across his body, didn't have time to set his feet and redirect his body towards first base. Great move and great play by Brody Gindra.
Here's Spencer Phillips, the righty. Stands in there, takes first pitch for a strike, 0-1. The best defenders make the spectacular look routine and make the routine look like they could do it in their sleep. Uphoff's 0-1, taken high for a ball. Count runs even, 1-1.
I mean, that was a ball that also kind of caught Gindra in between hop. It was up, he fielded it in his heel, kind of caught him up towards the elbow on his glove side. Still made it look easy.
Gindra might have another chance at this one. 3 Storm players converging, but center fielder Lofdahl takes charge. Good communication. He settles under the pop-up to end the top of the fourth. It's Elkhorn South 2, Millard North nothing as we head to the home half of the fourth. We'll get there after this on 93.7 The Ticket.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Discovering your life's passion is easier with options, and that's what Doane offers students. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes you different. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Skip the line and order with our app or online.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
2-0 Storm over the Mustangs here in the bottom of the fourth. Austin Norman, Nick Sainert. We're in the booth. We got Brandon Berge on the mound and Brooks Berliner in the batter's box. Berliner takes a fastball for a called strike to start the inning. He had a 1-out single back in the second. He would be stranded there.
Austin, a little bit of a different pace in this second game than what we had in the first game.
We saw 6 runs scored in the bottom of the first by Lincoln East, and that's after Millard South even loaded the bases in the top of the frame despite not pushing one across.
Well, it took 51 minutes of real time to get through an inning and a half. We are through 3.5 here and in an hour and 5 minutes.
This is the Nick Sainert style of game, pitcher's duel.
Oh, I love this type of thing.
Berge missed low out with the breaking ball. So here comes his 2-2, chopped foul. Whether or not that hurt Berliner, he did a masterful job of informing us all that it hit him. We've seen some issues with that earlier in the state tournament.
Yeah, you're right. I think here's the thing. Here's what I would say to people that don't like pitchers' duels. I mean, it makes every moment magnified just that much more. Like in a one-run ball game, whether that's a 10-9 game or even a 1-0 game, everything just feels so much more important because the opportunities feel so few. The margin for error is so slim. Doesn't matter what level you play at, whether it's select baseball, high school, college, professional, it just feels like the margin for error is so small.
Berliner ran the count full. He's out in front of this one. Skies it in the air to center. Coming in is the center fielder down to a knee. That's Alex Burish making the sliding catch, and Berliner is down for the first out of the fourth.
Just to give you an idea of what the wind is doing here at Warner Park, that ball started in that 5-6 hole. I mean, it was a sky-high pop-up, shallow outfield depth, but that ball started in the 5-6 hole. The shortstop I thought was going to initially have it. Then the wind pushed it out to the left fielder, and then the center fielder was the one that came away with the catch.
Berge set to deliver to Cam Cooper, who squares the bunt. Pitch bounced up there. Cooper pulled back 1-0. Important as an outfielder then to not give up on it. Your first step takes on magnified importance. Get a good jump, get a good read. Be there in time to call off your infielder. It's going to be swirling for them a lot of times, going back on the ball. For you, you're coming in. That's a much easier, simpler read.
Well, especially for the center fielder and right fielder in this case, because you're going to have that ball coming your direction. Left fielder, not so much right now, but yeah, your point still stands.
Cooper shows bunt, takes it for a strike, 1-1. And especially with a lot of righties in the lineup for both teams, for a center fielder and a right fielder, not only is the wind pushing it that way, just the natural tail of the ball off the bat of a right-hander, if it's in the air or on a line, it's going to do that natural sort of slicing motion.
Yeah. Kind of like some people's golf swings. The ball off of the golf.
You said our.
Some people's golf swings.
It's 1-2 to Cooper now. That one could be a three-hopper out to second base. Evans up with it. He's over to first to Phillips in time. Cooper down for out number 2. I successfully navigated my trip to Topgolf over the weekend for a bachelor party. I did. I actually squared one up. I hit the best shot I've ever hit in my life. Traveled about 100 yards.
That's tough.
It is. I have not been able to figure out the gentleman's game of golf. 2 away in the inning for Brandon Berge.
Still a gentleman, I suppose.
I can be a gentleman. I just don't have to be good at the game.
There's very few people that are good at the game of golf.
Even like relative to the level of competition I was golfing with, it was not good.
Okay.
A couple guys playing a golf league, and that showed. I would still put myself in the bottom 20th percentile of the 5 golfers. So 2-0 count to Peters. Defensive 2-0 swing, so now it's 2-1. I will say, though, I can tell just how long I played baseball because I still approach my golf shot the same way, post that back foot up, then my right one, front right foot. So Peters takes it high, 3-1.
Were you ever a pitcher? Did you ever get to pitch?
Sporadically. I was dominant in elementary and middle school.
So when it didn't matter.
And then my velocity didn't take up as far as it needed to. Nice running catch down the right field line by Jackson Smith. And Elkhorn South is done in the bottom of the 4th. 2-0, the Storm maintained their advantage. We're headed to the 5th. Millard North due up next on 93.7 The Ticket.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a slight chance of showers and storms this afternoon. Otherwise, mainly sunny with a light breeze and a high near 72. Tonight, mainly clear skies with light winds, a low around 43. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with a light breeze, afternoon high near 70. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket, and theticketfm.com.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Kevin Durant, Vince Carter, Dwayne Wade all walking around here at Warner Park. And early career Kobe Bryant reincarnated. Trying to figure out what that Seahawks jersey is. 27? I can't tell. Anyways, let's get back to the action on the field. I'm Austin Norman, but with the call, Nick Sainer.
You're obviously talking about the students section for Elkhorn South, jersey themed.
A lot of talent at that high school if those guys are attending.
Yeah.
But no state championship to show for it.
Not yet.
Letdown.
Not yet. No state championship appearance either for the baseball team. All right, here we go. We're ready to go in the top of the fifth inning. Starting us off, it is number 23, Alexander McCobb, the designated hitter. He struck out swinging his first time up, and he takes strike one, 0-1. It's out there for his fifth inning of work. It is Caleb Uphoff. And the first first batter is going to ground this one to Gindra, and Gindra fires it over to first base for the 6-3 ground out. Gindra is so solid over there. I mean, he makes it look effortless.
Everything's
really
just so
impressive.
casual for him.
Yeah, really, really impressive. Excited to see what the future looks like for Brody Gindra. We talked about, obviously, Joey Senstock earlier, but Gindra just a junior right now, so he'll be arriving to Nebraska not this next year, but the following year. As this one fouled back to the net, 0-1 on the first pitch of the at-bat to Tanner Evans. All right, Austin, so back to a conversation we were having. You mentioned you pitched sporadically.
Yes.
What was in the arsenal for Austin Norman at Lincoln Lutheran High School?
Four-seam.
Okay.
Curveball. Changeup. It was a little spotty. I threw a changeup.
As this one's flied out, it's going to stay in the infield. Gindra will have a chance. He lost in the sun. No, now he lost in the sun. That sun is a pain in the butt here for every infielder. Gindra just looked over at the Elkhorn South dugout and I just lost it. It's one of those where when it's high in the air, you're going to see it. As it starts to come down, you start to lose it, and you lose it right when it's about 20 feet away from you, and then bang, it's on you. So there you have it. It's going to be ruled. They ruled it a hit.
And Gindra would have had a chance to throw Evans out. Evans thought he was dead to rights, thought Gindra was going to catch it. He made a casual turn around second base, was about halfway there, but Gindra tossed it to second instead of first.
Quick pick over to first base. It's Chase Mockle now up to bat.
I'll finish my arsenal.
Yeah, so
curveball developed. Changeup kind of went by the wayside. I got a cutter, though, by the time I got to Summer Legion as a junior and senior, and that was pretty effective.
It's interesting. The cutter is sometimes popular with younger guys because you throw it like a fastball. It has that slider or side to side movement. It's a popular pitch to teach younger guys that might not have the bigger hands yet. But then also from an arm slot and the way you throw it like a fastball. So arm injury and arm health is certainly a conversation there.
Thinking through the physical attributes of the pitch, it was the four-seamer with that arm side kind of run. The curveball was more vertical, kind of 11-5, more so than 12-6. Then the cutter was that horizontal, get a ground ball pitch.
Yeah. Get a couple of pickoffs here that have been back safely.
No, I was more break glass in case of emergency.
Gotcha. Yeah. They didn't specifically label me catcher only, but I mean that's what I was. It was freshman year. I think I got a chance to pitch against Scott. I think I came in, walked 5 or 6 guys, and they said, "Nick, you're never going to pitch again." And I said, "That's fine. I'd much rather be behind the plate." No balls, 2 strikes here to Chase Mockle, runner on first. This one swung on, hit well out to right field. Fairly routine, but the wind's going to keep pushing it back and back and back. But under it is the Elkhorn South right fielder for an out. That's the second out of the inning as they retire the 9-hole hitter, Chase Mockle. That'll turn the lineup over and bring Jackson Smith up to the plate.
To be fair, not always easy to pitch to Omaha Scott.
That is true. That is true. Well, and at Pius, there's only JV and varsity. There's no reserve team or freshman team either. And so most of the time, if you were a freshman playing in JV games like we were playing a lot of juniors that were much more experienced and sharper skills. This one's roped. Speaking of hitting sharply into right field, rounding second on his way to third is going to be Tanner Evans, and there will be 2 Millard North runners on base at each of the corner bases here with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning.
Second single of the day for Jackson Smith. Good, simple approach. Got a fastball over the heart of the plate. Uphoff was just trying to get ahead in the count with the fastball. Smith was ready for it. That was a shot to right.
So now here in the top of the fifth inning, 2 outs for Caleb Uphoff. He is now going to have to deal with Ripken Fleck. Fleck, the 2-hitter in this Millard North lineup. He gets to start at third base. Still plenty of time here for Millard North. Millard North just needs to win this game, and they are in the state championship. Elkhorn South will need to win this one and the next one against Millard North. They'd have a rematch about 35 minutes after the conclusion of this one. Here's the pitch from Uphoff. Swung on, fouled back to the net, and we will have 0-1 coming up.
Flex saw the same thing. Fastball for the first pitch. That one was inside. It just got in on his hands.
No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the top of the fifth inning. Here's the pitch. Low, the runner goes. They fake the throw to second. They were going to get ready to get into a rundown between first and second base, Millard North was, because they were saying, if you give us the run, we'll go ahead and give you the out. But then they let him stroll into second, and they said, okay, we'll have 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs here.
In just a 2-0 game.
Yeah. Here is Ripken Fleck. 1 ball, 1 strike to the Millard North third baseman. The pitch from Uphoff. Low and in the dirt. Good stop by Gideon. And Gideon wants to go talk to his pitcher.
Got to consider what your best pitch is here, what your best out pitch is. It's one thing to get back even in the count, not the end of the world. But if you can get out of this on this pitch, that goes a long way, because the further the at-bat extends, the more advantage goes to the hitter, more familiar with the stuff. And a good hitter in that in Ripken Fleck with a .350 batting average entering the state tourney.
We're approaching 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon here. It is the top of the fifth inning. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Millard North down by 2, but the tying runner is on second. Ripken Fleck stands in. Here's the pitch. Swung on grounder. Shortstop. Does Ginger get over there? He does. Does he have time to make it? And that's another smart and great play by Brody Gindra as he walked over to his left, fielded it cleanly, fired over to Musil at first base, and that will do it for the top of the fifth inning. We step aside, come back in 60 seconds for the bottom half of the fifth right after this on The Ticket.
Breathe easier inside your home with Bryant. Eliminate allergens and odors and control humidity too. For a breath of fresh air, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and they're having the biggest hail sale they've ever had. A huge opportunity is at your front door right now. Some of these cars we're fixing, some we're not, and some it's totally up to you. New Sierra starting at $15,000 off list. New Canyons at $8,500 off list. New body styles on the Acadias, $3,000 off list. You need to hurry as there's going to be a lot of people heading to Louisville. Check us out at cobblecars.com. Stock numbers G121492, G187747, and G196599.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
So Austin and I were having this conversation about Brody Gindra just because he is incredibly smooth at shortstop. And there's guys naturally, and we've seen a lot of them here in the state tournament just because of the caliber of talent that guys are going to college with. And Brody Gindra, though, is like there's a separate caliber and category for Brody Gindra. And we were having the conversation on, what we feel like he can do at Nebraska. I mean, this is a guy, as a junior, has some of the smoothest hands I think we've seen at the high school level in our couple of years of calling.
Oh, without a doubt. Good range, really solid arm. Obviously, he'll be on the mound. I don't think he's Spencer Schwellenbach on the bum by any means. I don't think pitching would be in his future at Nebraska, but certainly good enough to make it work. Pinch hitter Jaden Ish, by the way.
Thank you. Jaden Ish is in there for Jack Gideon. Gideon will re-enter because he's the catcher and he's had a good day behind the plate. But for Ish, he was starting yesterday, but then got pinch hit for himself. The 2-1 swing and a miss on the breaking ball, 2-2 to Jaden Ish.
I'll say this as well. We've seen Nebraska commits at shortstop each of the last 2 games. I think Gindra's a more natural shortstop than Joey Senstock.
I do
think
too.
The bat's a little better. So if those 2 guys do indeed end up in Lincoln at the same time, wouldn't shock me to see Senstock give shortstop a try, but maybe move over to the Keystone.
Which that's not a knock, right? Like if you can lock down the middle infield, we see what it's done for Nebraska in the past. As we have a leadoff walk here to Jaden Ish. We've seen what it can do, it's done in the past, though, too, for Nebraska baseball when you can lock down the middle infield. I think back to the days of like Cash Kalkowski and Pat Kelly.
Yes.
Chad Christensen was in there for a while as well. I'm sure the text line will let us know if we missed any of the names of those guys that locked down the middle infield at the same time. I mean, even this year, right? Dylan Carey's had a relatively strong year at shortstop.
Caden Brumbaugh did a great job at second.
I think Carey's leading the team in errors, but also you have to look at volume.
A lot of chances. Also, the hilarity of high school baseball means you can have a pinch hitter and a courtesy runner.
Yeah.
Neither of whom will see the field at the top of the inning.
That is correct.
It's Charles Dickmeyer, number 11, by the way.
So now the lineup turns over, and the man we were talking about, Brody Gindra, steps into the box, steps up to the plate. Here's the pitch to Gindra. Breaking ball, works over the heart of the plate for a strike, 0-1.
Being able to throw that pitch for a strike, start it at his front hip, break it back over the inside part. Dangerous if you hang it, but Gindra's been looking fastball all day, so you give him something different to start the at-bat.
Brody Gindra led off last night's game with a triple. Here on the day, he walked back in the first and had a nice rip down the third base line that was snagged out of the air by Millard North third baseman. And so he is 0 for 1 officially. The 1-1 pitch to Brody Gindra. Berge delivers. This one hit well out to left field. The left fielder racing in, and the wind holds it up long enough as it pushes out to right field for out number 2. It's a fly out for Brody Gindra, and that will now be out number 1 of the inning. And bringing up the center fielder, Tyler Lofdahl. So Lofdahl sacrificed his at-bat back in the first to move Gindra over, and then had a single in the third inning. As he fake bunt slashes to the left side, it's hit well, but straight at the left fielder. We've talked about it a few times. We've only seen a couple of teams do it this weekend where the batter will show bunt. It forces the third baseman or the first baseman. In this case, it was the third baseman to charge, and then he pulls back as the pitcher starts his delivery, and you choke up on the bat and you just try to slash something the other way. That is exactly what happened there. It worked out really well. It was a good piece on the ball, just straight at the left fielder for the lineout.
Those balls that are hit straight at you as an outfielder can be tricky to judge, especially if they're on a line. Schaefer's gotten a couple really good jumps, really good breaks for the last 2 hitters.
So now it's Owen Musil, who I personally feel like we're just waiting to see break, as this pitch is going to be swung on, hit shallow right field. Right fielder rushing over. He will not get there. It's dropped in shallow right field, and the inning is alive here as Owen Musil is able just to strong arm one into shallow right field with 2 outs.
Musil's had that pull approach. I don't know if he meant to go the other way with that one, but that's how you keep a defense honest, especially, there. If you can just flick one into right field every so often, that gives the defense something else they have to respect.
So now runners at the corners for Elkhorn South. This could be a big moment in the game. In the top half of the 5th inning, Elkhorn South was able to keep Millard North off the board despite having a couple of runners in scoring position there. Now Elkhorn South has 2 runners in the corners, and the first pitch of the at-bat to Marcus Gorup is low and away, ball 1.
Ryan P. throws out the name Steven Revelis.
Oh, sure. I'm trying to think of middle infielders for Nebraska that were there at the same time that really strong defensively.
Who was at second base with G-Lo?
Would that have been like Schleppenbach for that year? Or was Schlepp before him?
I think he might have been there when Altavilla was younger.
Because Altavilla started his career at third. Isn't that correct? Is that correct, or am I thinking of somebody else?
Right. I'm just saying you have late career Altavilla
Yeah.
playing short against Michigan in that really fun series at Haymarket.
Yeah, that was fun. 2 balls, no strikes here to Marcus Gorup. Here's the pitch. Up and away, ball 3.
Big moment here in this one, Nick. Still only a 2-0 game. Gorup had that RBI double earlier.
So here on 3 balls, no strikes. Here's the pitch down the middle for a strike, 3-1. Owen Musel not even entertaining the opportunity to get an extra bag here. He is maybe half of a step. Full step. He's got long legs. Full step off of first base. Here's the pitch on 3-1. Swung on, fouled back to the net, and we'll have a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th.
That swing from Gorup came because that 3-0 pitch was right where he wanted it. 3-1, he wasn't going to let another one go by.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the 5th inning. Runners on the corners, 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. Elkhorn South leads it by a pair of runs over Millard North. Here's the pitch from Berge. Swung on, hit left side, fielded cleanly by the shortstop. Long throw across the diamond in time for out number 3. So we go to the top of the 6th with your score still just 2-0. Elkhorn South unable to add any insurance the last 2 innings of play. Millard North still looking for their first run in this one. They've had chances. We'll have the top of the 6th inning coming your way in just a few moments on 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and they're having the biggest hail sale they've ever had. A huge opportunity is at your front door right now. Some of these cars we're fixing, some we're not, and some it's totally up to you. New Sierra starting at $15,000 off list. New Canyons at $8,500 off list. New body styles on the Acadias, $3,000 off list. You need to hurry as there's going to be a lot of people heading to Louisville. Check us out at cobblecars.com. Stock numbers G121492, G187747, and G196599.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Warner Park. Nick Sainert, Austin Norman alongside here as we enter the top of the 6th inning. We're having fun going back and trying to think back to former Husker baseball players. This doesn't have anything to do with our infield conversation, Austin, but remember the name Michael Pritchard?
Michael Pritchard. You never let me forget that name.
I've never let you forget that one. Here at the 6th inning, it's Austin.
Thank you, Nick. Caleb Uphoff out for the 6th. He fires a breaking ball for strike 1 to Marcus Hankins. 3-4-5 due up for Millard North. The Mustangs still in search of their first run. They have a little margin for error in that they don't need to win this one to advance to Friday, as now Hankins has watched 2 straight breaking balls to start the inning. Hankins, big righty batter. He's doing the catching today, .374 batting average. He chops this one down the third base line, going to be a tough play. Here's the throw across the diamond from Gorup, just in time. Marcus Gorup puts his head down, gets his glove down, good transfer. Well done all the way around by the freshman to retire Hankins for the first out of the top of the 6th.
Yeah, really tough play for Marcus Gorup. Marcus Hankins doesn't run all that well, but he did a really nice job. Gorup did of, like you said, not worrying about the angle, kind of dropping his head so it was more natural arm motion and fired over to first in time.
Here's Caden Schaefer. He is 0 for 2 today. He's up with 1 out in the 6th. This one also chopped to third. Gorup snared that one. That ball crossed the foul line before it reached third base. Gorup dove from behind the bag, and I thought that was going to be ruled fair, but the home plate umpire said that, no, the ball was foul as it reached the base.
It's interesting because Gorup's glove was on the chalk.
There's a chunk out of the chalk.
Yeah.
You can see where exactly Gorup was when he fielded that ball. Schaefer runs average, slightly above. Would have been a long throw across the diamond on the one hopper.
I think Schaefer also wears a short sleeve hoodie under his jersey.
He does. Evans does as well.
I'm as big of a short sleeve hoodie guy as there is. I mean, trust me, I own 5 or 6 of them. But
to play
in, that's bold.
Especially now in the late spring, getting into the early part of summer. Well, I suppose you got another month from today till we have summer, but it's baseball season, so we were going to consider it summer. Early in the spring, you could talk me into it. Schaefer smacks that one to center. That is well hit. Lofdahl got a mediocre jump on it, but he's there in plenty of time for out number 2. That was hit on a line by Schaefer. Lofdahl started straight back. The wind carried it to his left, our right, but he settled under it eventually for the second out.
Yeah, that was a ball up in the zone. Schaefer thought, let me elevate and celebrate here. He just a touch early on. If he's a little later, I think that ball starts center field and kind of works itself naturally over to right center field's gap. And maybe we're talking extra bases, but a nice job there by the Elkhorn South pitcher and center fielder.
2 away for Alex Burish as Uphoff climbs the ladder, but a little too far, 1-0.
I mean, how about the job Caleb Uphoff's done on the mound? Coming in, knowing your team is a little thinner on pitchers and options. You need a quality start from this young man. And, I mean, just came in and he's shoved strikes.
He just threw, according to my book, his 74th pitch through 5 2/3 innings. That is extremely efficient. 4 hits given up on the day. He's walked 1, hit 1, and that's been it for free passes. Uphoff's 1-1, cut on and missed by Burish. Uphoff now ahead in the count 1-2. Hasn't been a dominant day, only the 1 strikeout. It was back in the second inning, but Uphoff has done what he's needed to, gotten some timely help from his defense, including to end last inning by Gender at short. That one's roped up the middle and through. It'll be a 2-out single for Alex Burish. Well struck beyond the reach of Caleb Peters at second base. It's a 2-out base runner for the Mustangs.
Yeah, and just to continue the conversation on Uphoff on the mound, I mean, this is what the state tournament's about, though, is you got to have guys. We talked about it during the basketball state tournament. We talked about it during football as well. You're going to have your stars show up, but you need some of your other guys, not so notable names, maybe some underclassmen to really step up, especially on the mound in baseball. Come in, be competitive consistently over the length of a game. And here he is. I mean, he's 1 pitch away from working a 6th scoreless frame. He did allow that 2-out base runner, though.
Spencer Phillips, the hitter now. Breaking ball, fouled off. 0-1. Phillips was ready for that fastball. Instead, he got the breaker. All he could do is foul it off. Inning still alive for Millard North. They trail by 2 in what is an elimination game for Elkhorn South. Mustangs have some wiggle room. Uphoff disengages and then pump fakes, so he's all safe over there on the mound. 0-1, he's set at the letters, ready to bring it home. Ducks the chin to check. That one hits Phillips, and now first run of the day in scoring position for Millard North. We'll have a conversation here between Uphoff, Gideon, and Musil.
Maybe we should just not talk about the pitcher, because since we did, he's allowed a 2-out base runner and then a hit by pitch.
I'm going to say we can continue to talk about him because this is just high school pitching, you know?
That's true.
Just guys have it, then they lose it. Looks like we have Brandon Dahl out of the dugout. He'll scrape some dirt around with his feet. Have some action in the Elkhorn South bullpen, but it looks like just going to have a bit of a conversation for now. Settle Uphoff down. Big moment in this game. 2 on, 2 outs, top of the 6th. Elkhorn South leads it 2-0.
And it's also turning into, I mean, just looking down the road here. If Millard North is able to extend this here, even if they just get 1 run to cut it in half, you're shaping up to have the top part of your order at some point in the top of the 7th inning.
In the bottom of the 6th, rather, it'll be O'Gorman, Berliner, and Cooper for Elkhorn South. Not not bad, but not the strongest part of the order. So here is Alexander Michaud DHing today. 0-for-2 strikeout and a ground out to Gindra. Righty-righty matchup. Caleb Uphoff approaching 80 pitches on the afternoon. Long look at second base, now a second one. He brings it home. Swung on, flared down the right field line, twisting toward the line. Over to make the catch is Cam Cooper. He squeezes it as he runs into the wall, and Elkhorn South escapes the top of the sixth inning. The shutout still intact. We go to the bottom of the sixth. Elkhorn South attempting to tack on to its lead. We'll tell you about it next on 93.7 The Ticket.
Attention! Acres is cutting interest rates and offering great deals below market value on the largest selection of used inventory in the nation. For a limited time, Acres is offering interest rates as low as 2.9% on our late model John Deere ag equipment. Acres low interest rates, along with our below market prices on select John Deere used planters, tractors, sprayers, and combines, makes it a great time to upgrade your equipment for the 2025 season. Visit acres.com for details. That's AKRS.com. Offer ends May 31st, 2025. Subject to proof financing. Offer may change at any time without notice.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Maybe it is.
2-0 Elkhorn South as we play in the bottom of the sixth. We'll have a call to the bullpen for Millard North. We'll tell you who it is for sure when we get the throw down to second base and we see the uniform number on the back. We know it's a number in the 20s, and that would mean either Major Mosser or Trevor Pekka.
I think it's Major Mosser. It looks like 20. Also, knowing Major Mosser's build from basketball season, that appears to be Major Mosser.
Really fantastic basketball player for the Mustangs.
Does a really good job of not turning his back to the press box either.
Staying between second base and the ball.
Yeah, really, really impressive.
If it is Major Mosser, he enters the state tournament with a 1-0 record, but an ERA of 5.65. Yep, Major Mosser indeed. There, he had to turn his back eventually. For Elkhorn South, as I mentioned, 5, 6, 7, O'Gorman, Berliner, and Cooper. O'Gorman 0-for-2 today, but last night provided an exclamation point for Elkhorn South, a solo home run down the right field line. O'Gorman takes the first pitch from Mosser, a fastball, strike one. Third baseman even with the bag, other infielders are deep. O'Gorman takes a fastball from Mosser in the right-handed batter's box, 1-1. Might have mentioned this earlier. When you think of Millard North, you think about the basketball success they've had recently. Think about their triple option attack in football. But baseball successful in its own right. 30 state tournament appearances in program history. They won it in 1990 and 2005. Probably the most successful run in school history there is in Class A. They were the runners-up in 2002. Then took a year off in 03. Runner-up in 2004, won it in 05. Runner-up again in 06. There's a 5-pitch walk issued to Eamon O'Gorman. He is aboard to begin the bottom of the sixth, for Elkhorn South. Brandon Dahl calls for time. He's going to say, Eamon O'Gorman, job well done drawing that walk. He'll call on a pinch runner. For Elkhorn South, it will be number 15, Luke Valasek. What's notable about this, Nick, Valasek's run, vitally important here as Elkhorn South looks for insurance. He's a freshman. It's one thing to be fast. It's another to be a good base runner.
Were you either?
Yes, actually. That was both.
Okay.
I would tell you that my biggest skill was probably taking the extra base, but I could rip off a bag here or there. I was a glove first player. This one bunted very well down the first base line. Mosser over. Will he have time to make the flip? He attempts to apply the tag. They say that he does tap Berliner on the chest. So Brooks Berliner does his job, moves Valasek 90 feet closer to home.
The old one unassisted.
See that about once a month. So here's Cam Cooper. Big spot for the sophomore. Got the start again today. Their day off yesterday. Cooper a righty, Mosser a righty. Valasek being held. Now Cooper squared to bunt, pulled it back, panicked, and then threw the bat back out there and foul tipped it. 0-1. I will tell you, as a sophomore, my goal in making varsity was, can I just be that courtesy runner? Can I be the pinch runner? But
okay.
I got the surprise start after I went 1 for 3 in a JV game.
1 for 3
in the JV game, but then I went 2 for 3 with a couple of singles in my varsity debut. Started every game that year. The conversation here with the umpire, he's scribbling in his scorebook and pointing to the Elkhorn South dugout. But Cooper's back in the batter's box. Righty waggles the bat a little bit to stay loose. Mosser disengages the rubber. Got some sweat on his nose. He peers into Hankins for the sign. Mosser set at the belt. Couple checks back to second base. Brings it home. Breaking ball over the head of Cooper. 1-1. Big spot here in the bottom of the sixth. 2-0 Elkhorn South, 2 runs on 4 hits. Brandon Berge pitched pretty well for Millard North. Major Mosser on in relief. Cooper skies this one on the infield. This ought to be Hankins' ball. He settles underneath it, squeezes it with one hand. Now 2 away in the bottom of the sixth. Really good job of understanding where he was on the field and the wind there, Nick.
Yeah, it was a great job. The only critique that I would say is get that mask out of the way. Kind of just threw it down by his feet. It's a tripping hazard if there ever is one. I can attest to that. But a great job turning his back to home plate, right? Obviously, that ball, the spin is going to push everything back to the field of play. Get his back turned to home plate and camp yourself under it. Nice job, young man.
Major Mosser delivers his next pitch, called strike on the inside corner, 0-1 to Caleb Peters. Peters 0 for 1 on the day. He got plunked in the second, flew out to right in the fourth. Peters is a junior, 8 for 32 this season, credited with 2 RBI. He's able to find number 3. Be some insurance for Elkhorn South. That fastball runs in. Peters ducks out of the way, 1-1. Peters puts his call sheet in his back pocket. Major Mosser comes set atop the hill. Kicks and delivers. Peters in the air again to right field. Smith seems like he has this one measured. One-handed catch above his head. He does. So we go to the top of the 7th inning. Millard North needs 2 runs to keep playing here today in this game. It's a race to 2 runs or 3 outs for Elkhorn South. Their backs against the wall facing elimination. Can they hold on and force a second game? We'll see. Caleb Uphoff trots back out to the mound. We'll be back with the 7th inning after this on 93.7 The Ticket.
Summertime is here. It's time to get to Brown's Shoe Fit for their May sandal sale. From now through May 31st, get $15 off all regular price sandals. Whether it's for hiking, or the lake, or just everyday sandals, Brown's has you covered. And don't forget, Brown's carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your summer off right with the May sandal sale at Brown's Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
2-0 Elkhorn South as we head to the top of the 7th. I'm Austin Orman, but with the call of the 7th, here's Nick Sainert.
Thank you, Austin. It's the top of the 7th inning here as we approach the 3 o'clock hour. It is 2-0 Elkhorn South. Millard North actually has the lead in hits, but that is not the column that matters. It's the score, and it is 2-0 in favor of Elkhorn South. We get to see Caleb Uphoff for his 7th inning of work, and just a strong performance by Caleb Uphoff, who came in with a 1-3 record on the year, a 6.43 earned run average. He's thrown a shutout to this point through 6 innings of play. It'll be hitters 8, 9, and 1 due up here in the top half of the 7th inning. If Elkhorn South can hang on, then we will play another game about 35 minutes after the conclusion of this one between these two teams. If Millard North can come back and knock off Elkhorn South, then we are done for the day. Here's the first pitch on the way. This one's swung on, hit into routine left field, and that is the first out of the inning on one pitch to Tanner Evans. F7 on the game book for out number 1. That'll bring up the shortstop, Chase Mockel. Mockel hits from the right side, facing the right-handed pitcher of Caleb Uphoff. It'll be interesting to see where Elkhorn South turns on the mound if they can hold on in this one, as the first pitch is inside for a ball 1-0. It'll be interesting to see, just because they came in a little more depleted than other programs, than other, Millard North specifically. But now you feel somewhat even, as this one's grounded up the middle. That's going to be a base hit for Chase Mockel. Mockel's had a really nice day out of the 9-hole. He flew out to the right fielder in the 5th, but he singled back in the 3rd, and now he's 2 for 3.
Setting the table for the top of the order, Jackson Smith has hit it hard twice, and Ripken Fleck feels a little due.
So here you have it, Jackson Smith, as he will be up to bat. Runner on first base is Chase Mockel. Here in the top of the 7th inning. The pitch, no, we're going to have a step off and a fake throw over to first base on the pickoff attempt. 1 out in the top of the 7th inning. Here's the pitch. Outside corner, strike 1. Nice pitch there by Caleb Uphoff. They do have a body warming in the Elkhorn South bullpen. It's Mason Eck, number 20, who's pitched against Millard North before. Here's this one as it goes low and away, ball 1.
Elkhorn South doing some premature clapping here. The extended claps like you would normally see with 2 strikes at the very least, or more often 2 outs. Trying to induce a double play ball, I suppose.
That 1-1 pitch is on the outer part of the zone. It clipped it for a strike, 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Here's the pitch from Uphoff on the way, swung on, fouled back left side, and we will do it again at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Austin, maybe for the state championships on Friday, and I say this 100% sarcastically, we need to be sitting out on the party porches here, so that way we can grab a foul ball.
Maybe we just call the inning solo and we just take turns on the party porch.
I don't know about that one either. As this 1-2 offering low and inside to Jackson Smith. It was close, and it's now 2-2.
I just thought we were in the brainstorming session here. I didn't think any idea was a bad idea, but I found out the opposite rather quickly.
Yeah. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out in the bottom of the 7th here. Uphoff comes set at the letters. Jackson Smith, the left-handed hitter, takes ball 3. 3-2. And if Jackson Smith can get on base, that'll put the tying run at first base with hitters 2, 3, and 4 due up. But Jackson Smith has to deal with a 3-2 offering from Caleb Uphoff first.
You expect fastball.
Comes set. Runner on first is Mockel. Here's the payoff pitch. Strike 3 called, low and outside corner. The umpire, I don't know if the umpire would have rang him up on that one. He just did a generic strike call. That seemed a little low from up here, Austin, but nonetheless, the umpire just did the normal strike call. There was no punch out from the home plate umpire. I'm not sure he realized that he just rang up Jackson Smith on that pitch low and away.
Uphoff hit his spot. Whether or not it was a strike, Gideon did a good job setting up for that right where he wanted it. So now 2 outs in the inning, 1 out away from playing a second game of this series.
So here you have it. Uphoff will fake the throw over to first base. And with 2 outs, stepping in, it's Ripken Fleck. Fleck is 0 for 2 today. He sacrificed his at-bat back in the first inning. The first pitch of the at-bat to Ripken Fleck. Fleck swings and fouls this one off, and it's 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, top of the 7th inning. The 0-1 pitch from Uphoff to Fleck. Swung on, grounder, left side. Gindra tries to get there, does so on the diving stop. Throw across the diamond is in time. Brody Gindra. What a play as he had a sliding stop to his left. He threw it across the diamond and got Ripken Fleck, the third baseman for Millard North, out in time at first base. And so Elkhorn South wins this one by a score of 2-0. And they will survive to play one more in around 30 minutes here at Warner Park. Austin Norman.
What a play to end the game by Brody Gindra. He was busy at shortstop all day. Nick, in the first game we saw today, Blake McAndrews had a couple of key errors as a sophomore in some key spots for Millard South. Joey Senstock had an error. Brody Gindra has been the best defensive shortstop we've seen all day. Makes a tough play, sliding up the middle, gets to his feet, fires a bullet across the infield in time. Not a lot of offense in this one, so the nice defensive plays weren't necessary from Elkhorn South from start to finish. Huge shout out to Caleb Uphoff. His number got called in a big situation. Elkhorn South in a win or go home game for them. They needed a big performance. They get it. A complete game shutout from Caleb Uphoff. Tip of the cap to that young man.
It's the perfect example of what we always talk about. You can weather the hits. It's the free passes and errors that you cannot come back from. Millard North actually out-hits Elkhorn South today, but because of some strong defense and some big pitches from Caleb Uphoff, it doesn't matter that he allows 6 hits in 7 innings of work. He allows 0 runs, and Elkhorn South survives. They are playing one more against this Millard North Mustang squad. It's 2-0, your final score. We're going to be back in 25 minutes with first pitch of this one between Millard North and Elkhorn South here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships.